Welcome to another wonderful week. The market, whether you like it or not, is going to thin out within a few weeks, let's say about 2 weeks. As the Christmas holidays is upon us, we should expect liquidity, volatility to drop, right? So a quick look into what we have for this week, what we have for today, based on the economic calendar. First of all, Monday, we don't have much. And of course, Tuesday, we just have for the Australian dollar. So if you're trading the Australian dollar, expect some volatility going into tomorrow. And that will be like the early hours of the day, as that's when the Australian market opens, right? Sydney, Tokyo, London, New York. And then Wednesday would be the big one. Wednesday will be the big one for the US dollar, as we'll be talking about the CPI and, of course, also for CAD, their rate statement as well, which is also very, very important. So Wednesday, if you ask me, is the big one for the week for the dollar, US dollar, and also the Canadian dollar as well. Now, based on the high impact news coming out this week, let's dive into the charts and let's look at our favorites, the EURUSD. Here we have the EURUSD, and if you remember, EURUSD from last week was first of all bearish. We had it as a bearish sentiment as price was reacting to all of these areas here, but then it flipped, and then here would have been a good place today to join the bullish move after it broke out from here. You could have also gotten an entry here if you had changed to a lower time frame to get a discounted entry, right? But apart from that, what are we looking out for today or even tomorrow, this week, basically? Now you can see that price seems to be reacting to this area of resistance over here, reacting to the area of resistance over here. And then we had this high that was formed last week. So as price is reacting to the resistance, I also like to see a push and break to this area, 1.06300. Now, I would like to see a pullback to this area here. This area, looking at it to the left-hand side, you can see some form of demand was formed today. And then I would like to say pullback here, an entry here, and then we push higher, break this resistance, and then to this area here. So this is my own thought process for the Euro USD. Hopefully we get this entry before when is this CPI, and hopefully we don't have whipsaws that messes with our entry and our stop loss, because naturally your stop loss should be somewhere just below this area here. Now you can see that we're making our entry kind of tight, right? So that our stop loss here and our take profit here would have a good enough reward. Now, this scenario that we're seeing on the Euro USD is also very much similar to the GBP USD, which is the cable. So we're going to dive into the cable right about now and see what the cable has to offer, right? So the GBP USD, if you have a look at it as well, similar story to last week's price action as well. You can see it was reacting to these areas here of resistance and then broke out. And then here, it nicely sat on this area here. So the GBP USD would have been a cleaner one to get an entry on. We did get entries on Euro USD and GBP USD longs as well. And then we got out just before the end of last week, as I personally don't like holding trades over the weekend for gaps and then for other reasons as well. I like my information to be very, very fresh, right? Remember for Euro USD, we're looking at a pullback and then push higher. The same thing applies over here. So you can see that the GBP USD, in this case, seems to be a bit cleaner. You can see over here, we have some form of demand, some form of resistance supply here, and you can see the same thing happen over here, a bit messy, but then if you look over here, we have some form of resistance. So for this GBP USD, I would like to see the price come back to about 1.2750 area of flip zone, area of demand, area of support, I'd like to get a trigger here and then take it back to the highs from last week at 1.2810. And then, of course, stop loss will be somewhere lower. Normally, you would have put a stop loss here, but I don't want a big stop loss for that kind of take profit. And by the way, I'm going to be paying attention to see if price is going to break out of these highs over here, thanks to the high impact news that we have coming out later this week on Wednesday, especially as we said, the US CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is upon us. And don't forget also, majorly, the market is going to thin out. So we might see a final push before the market does some funny sideways movement until probably the first or second week of January. So as the market is gradually rounding up, it's also a good time to reflect on how the year 2024 was, how I was trading. Did you follow your plans? Did you follow your trading plans? What are your plans for 2025 in order to hit your target? These are things that I have said doing personally, and it would be good for you to also engage in that, as it would help you, because once you are planning, they say if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. So once you plan, then it means that you are planning for success and not for failure. Okay, so with that said, don't forget, I'm looking forward to a pullback on the GBP/USD to about 1.2750 for a long position for buying, and that's on the GBP/USD. And on the EURUSD, I'm also looking for a pullback as well, but then a pullback to this area here, and then at least taking it to 1.0630 here. To a pullback to this area, look for price action for your trigger. It could be any of the regular candles like the pain bar, the engulfers, even doji, or whatever the case may be. Or it could even be a pattern. Or you could as well, depending on you, depending on your style of trading, you could as well drop down in time frame to maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and look for something discounted. Look for another pattern inside this area here. Because trust me, once you drop down to lower time frames, based on the time frame that you are originally conducting your analysis from, you will see some things that would be an eye-opener for you. So this is my own analysis. You could also comment with yours, and then let's see how the market plays out. So I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Trade safely, protect your account accordingly, and don't forget to use stop loss and calculate your risk management based on your account balance. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day, and goodbye for now. Cheers.